Imagine coming home after a grueling day at the office, your mind already drifting to that cold beer in the fridge and kicking back under the shade of your hand-built pergola, only to find it reduced to a chaotic pile of shattered cedar, like some petty god had thrown a tantrum on your property. That's exactly what hit Alex Thompson like a freight train that sweltering afternoon in the sleepy suburb of Evergreen Meadows, where the American dream supposedly thrived under perfectly manicured lawns and invisible chains of HOA rules. But this wasn't just vandalism. This was the opening salvo in a war Alex never asked for, orchestrated by the neighborhood's self-appointed dictator, Beatrice B. Hargrove, whose clipboard was mightier than any sword, and whose smile hid teeth sharper than a lawyer's fine print. Alex pulled his old Ford pickup into the driveway, the engine sputtering to a halt as his eyes locked on the wreckage. The pergola he'd spent weekends assembling, nailing every beam with sweat and satisfaction, stringing fairy lights for his wife's garden parties, was now a sad heap of splinters, dust still settling like fallout from a bomb. He stepped out, boots crunching on the gravel, and felt a knot twist in his gut. This wasn't random. This had the stink of official meddling. Across the street, his neighbor, Old Man Hank, was pretending to water his already drowning azaleas, but his eyes darted over like he was witnessing a crime scene. "Alex," Hank muttered, hose dribbling forgotten onto the sidewalk. They rolled in at dawn. Truck bigger than my ego. Guys in hard hats waving papers like flags of conquest. Said it was a violation. Something about sightline obstruction, or whatever nonsense be cooked up this time. B. Hargrove, the HOA president who'd turned Evergreen Meadows into her personal fiefdom. Late 50s, with a perm that screamed, I peaked in the 80s. Always decked in khaki capris and a polo shirt embroidered with the HOA logo like it was a badge of honor. She patrolled the streets in her golf cart, eyes peeled for infractions, a weed daring to sprout, a car parked an inch over the line, or heaven forbid, holiday decorations up a day past the deadline. Neighbors whispered she had a spreadsheet for everything, including who smiled back at her during block parties. Alex had ignored her nitpicks before. The warning about his mailbox being too rustic, the note on his door about grass height. But this was war declared on his sanctuary. He marched down the block, pulse thumping in his ears, past houses with identical beige siding that screamed conformity. BA's place was at the corner, yard pristine to the point of sterility, a sign staked proudly, Evergreen Meadows HOA president, keeping our community pristine. He hammered the doorbell like it owed him money. The door creaked open, and there she was, B, with her saccharine grin that didn't reach her eyes, holding a mug of herbal tea as if she were hosting a garden club meeting. "Oh, Alex, dear," she cooed, voice dripping with faux concern. "I suppose this is about that little eyesore in your backyard. I did send notices 3, to be precise. You know the rules, no unapproved structures that impede pedestrian visibility. It's for safety, really. Think of the children. Safety," Alex spat, barely keeping his voice level. "It's a pergola, B, not a damn Berlin Wall. You sent goons to bulldoze my property while I was at work? That's not enforcement. That's destruction." She tilted her head, that practiced tilt of someone who'd rehearsed this in the mirror. Now, no need for profanity. The board authorized it after your non-response. We can't have one resident flouting the covenants. Sets a bad precedent. I'm just the messenger, upholding our community's standards. Her eyes gleamed with that self-righteous spark, the kind that said she relished the power trip. Alex wanted to unleash right there, But he bit it back. See, he didn't know, and no one in the HOA did, that Alex had just landed a gig as the senior compliance auditor for the regional firm that had quietly acquired oversight of all local HOAs, including theirs. He'd be dissecting their every move, from budgets to bylaws. But revenge? That was a dish best served with paperwork, not punches. Back home, Alex snapped photos of the debris from every angle, the splintered wood mocking him like BA's invisible smirk. He logged into the HOA portal, perks of his new role, and pulled up the records. It didn't take long to spot the rot. B had been slapping fines left and right for absurdities. Mrs. Patel's bird feeder attracting pests. Mr. Lopez's flagpole exceeding aesthetic height limits by a whopping inch. Even holiday wreaths deemed too garish. And the fines? Routed straight to her personal PayPal, not the official account. Illegal as hell, but wrapped in her veneer of community service. By evening, Alex had a dossier thicker than a phone book. Screenshots, timestamps, anonymous tips from neighbors who'd grumbled in private. Tomorrow's board meeting? He'd crash it not as the victim, but as the judge. The community center was a relic from the 70s. Fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees, folding tables scarred from years of potlucks and petty debates. Alex arrived early, sliding into a back chair with his folder like a loaded gun. Board members trickled in, retirees with nothing better to do, all nodding deferentially to B as she bustled in last, arms laden with a Tupperware of her infamous oatmeal cookies. To sweeten the agenda, she'd quip. She spotted him and her smile faltered for a split second. Alex, this is a closed session. Resident input is at the end, 10 minutes max. He leaned back, casual as could be. I'm aware. B. Carry on, she huffed, distributing cookies that no one touched, and launched into the drivel. Pool maintenance bids, a proposal to ban unsightly yard gnomes. Alex jotted notes, his pen scratching like a countdown. When the floor opened for concerns, he rose slowly, savoring the tension. I'm speaking as both a resident and your new oversight auditor from Regency Management, the firm that bought out your old handlers last week. Gasps rippled. BA's cookie crumbled in her fist. Yesterday, my property was vandalized under HOA orders. No warrant, no court approval, just BA's say-so. She interjected, voice pitching up. It violated sight lines, documented in our addendum. Alex slid his letter across the table. That addendum isn't filed anywhere legitimate. It's toilet paper. And while we're on violations, let's talk your fines, funneled to your personal account. That's embezzlement. B. Her face flushed, but she rallied with that mousy defiance. Donations for community extras. You twist everything. The room chilled. Even her cronies shifted uncomfortably. Word spread like wildfire through evergreen meadows. By dusk, neighbors were texting in group chats Alex hadn't known existed, sharing their own B horror stories. She fined me for my dog's bark being too shrill, said it disrupted harmony, one messaged. Another, towed my vintage Mustang because the red clashed with the palette. Palette? It's a car. Not a painting. Alex compiled it all, his patience a simmering pot. B, sensing the shift, doubled down, slipping a note under his door that night. Disrupting order has consequences. Step back. He photographed it, emailed it to his bosses. Oh, the irony. The queen of rules breaking her own. The escalation hit like a summer storm. Alex dug deeper into the records, uncovering BEA's beautification grant scam. A $7,500 nonprofit payout for eco-friendly landscaping that never happened. Funds wired to her account and vanished into cash withdrawals. For laborers, she'd claim later, but no receipts, no workers. Neighbors started whispering openly now, emboldened. Hank cornered B at the mailbox cluster. You gonna find me for this hoe's kink next? Or is that a safety hazard too? She snapped back. Standards must be maintained. Henry. Not everyone appreciates excellence. But her voice cracked, that facade slipping like cheap wallpaper. Then came the bombshell. A missing contractor, Raul Vargas, who'd griped about unpaid invoices for HOA jobs 6 months back. Poof, gone. Alex's audit linked it to BEA's shell company, Meadow Guardians LLC, a PO. Box facade funneling thousands. Messages on a seized burner phone. Handle the complainer. No loose ends. Sent to her sidekick, ex-treasurer Victor Klein, who'd retired to a cabin but was really hiding. The county got involved. Inspectors swarmed BEA's house. She answered in a power suit, gesturing wildly. This is harassment. I'm preserving property values. The deputy just stared. Ma'am, forging invoices isn't preservation. It's prison bait. Tensions boiled over at an emergency meeting Alex called. The center overflowed. Residents with pitchforks in spirit, popcorn in hand. B tried to command the podium. This witch hunt ignores my sacrifices. Who else polices your tacky decorations? Alex clicked through slides. Falsified checks. Venmo logs. The grant fraud. Sacrifices? You mean lining your pockets while terrorizing us? Voices erupted. You banned my tomato garden. Said it invited rodents. Find my kids' lemonade stand for unlicensed commerce. Be sputtered. You ingrates. Without me, this place would be a slum. Laughter mixed with outrage. That delicious laugh-through-anger moment as her absurdity peaked. The climax exploded like fireworks on a powder keg. Deputies arrived mid-meeting, warrant in hand. BA's face drained of color as they cuffed Victor via video link from his retirement bust. You're all complicit in mediocrity, she shrieked. But the vote was unanimous. Her ouster, assets frozen. Alex revealed the missing contractor tie-in. Raul's car found abandoned. Struggle marks inside. BA's shell company checks in his name. She crumbled, confessing bits under pressure. He threatened exposure. I just wanted control. The room roared in cathartic release. Applause, jeers, that hallowed gotcha satisfaction as her mask shattered. In the aftermath, Evergreen Meadows breathed again. Alex oversaw the rebuild, not just his pergola, funded by reclaimed fines, but the community itself. New board elections, transparent books, even a memorial plot for Raul, whose case turned homicide probe. Neighbors bonded over barbecues without fear of citations, planting gardens B would have axed. Alex stepped back, his revenge a quiet triumph. The pergola stood taller, vines climbing like reclaimed freedom. But here's the kicker that lingers. In a world where petty tyrants like B hide behind rules to wield power, is it ever truly wrong to play their game and win, or does that make you just as bad?